She didn't mean to check his phone. She swore she never had before. But that night, something felt off. They were supposed to meet for dinner, her birthday. She spent hours getting ready. Red dress, small gold earrings he once said looked soft on her. But by 8:37 p.m., he still hadn't shown up, and his texts were silent. She tried to stay calm, told herself it's probably work, maybe traffic, maybe he's planning something sweet. So she waited, first at the restaurant, then in the car, then finally in the lobby of his building, her heels cold against the tiled floor. And when he finally walked in, it was past midnight. No apology, no flowers, no explanation, just a tired sigh, a quick hug, and a distracted, "Sorry, babe." Crazy day. He smelled of cologne, but not the one he usually wears. She smiled anyway. "Let's just go up," she whispered. Upstairs, he collapsed onto the couch, scrolling his phone, like she wasn't even there. And she really tried to hold it all in. But when he got up to shower and left the phone behind, something in her chest cracked. It was unlocked. She never wanted to be that girl, the one who snoops, the one who checks. But that night didn't feel normal. She felt like a guest in a place she once called safe. So her fingers moved faster than her thoughts. She wasn't looking for anything specific, just confirmation that he wasn't pulling away, that her gut wasn't right. But what she found was silence. No texts with other women, no recent calls, nothing obvious, until she opened the gallery. And there it was, a mirror selfie, taken that same evening, a hotel room, a wine glass, and him. But he wasn't alone. There was a reflection, faint, but there. A woman, sitting on the edge of the bed. Her heart dropped. Not because of what she saw, but because of what she knew. He never mentioned a hotel. He never mentioned being late. He never even mentioned her birthday. She stared at the screen, hands shaking, mind blank. That's when the phone lit up. Incoming call. And on the screen, a name she didn't recognize. But something about it felt familiar. She didn't answer, just let it ring. He came out of the shower moments later, towel around his waist, humming a song that wasn't his usual. And for the first time in 2 years, she didn't say a word. She just stared. He noticed. "What?" he asked, half laughing, drying his hair. She shook her head. Nothing. But inside, everything had already changed. She didn't sleep that night. He did. Right there next to her, breathing steady, arm carelessly draped over her waist, as if nothing was wrong, as if she hadn't seen the photo, as if he hadn't been somewhere else, with someone else, while she waited in a dress he forgot she wore. At 3:12 a.m., she slipped out of bed and walked to the kitchen. The floor was cold. The silence was louder than ever. She stood there for minutes, staring at the blinking light on the microwave. And then she did something she never thought she would. She opened his phone again, not to find more proof, but to find her own boundary. What was she willing to tolerate? What was she waiting for? She checked the name that called earlier. It was saved as Lara Jim. But Lara didn't call like a gym buddy. Lara called 3 times. Lara left a voicemail. She hesitated, then pressed play. A soft voice, careful, almost rehearsed. "Hey, I didn't mean to call this late. I guess I was wondering if you made it home okay. Tonight was different. Call me when you can. Silence, then her own reflection in the black screen of the phone. She suddenly felt ridiculous, like she was the one intruding on something real, like they were the story and she was just a footnote. But wasn't she supposed to be the main character in his life? She put the phone down, and for the first time, didn't crawl back into bed. She sat on the living room floor instead, back against the couch, legs pulled to her chest. At sunrise, he walked out, yawning, scratching his neck. "You okay?" She nodded. "Yeah. Couldn't sleep." "Want coffee?" She didn't answer, because all she wanted was the truth. But he wasn't offering it. Instead, he made his own cup, turned on music, and started humming again. The same song as last night, the one she finally placed. It was in the background of Lara's voicemail. She didn't say anything. She just watched him, like watching someone she thought she knew, from a distance. Later that morning, he kissed her forehead and left for work, as if the night before hadn't happened, as if birthdays were optional, as if voicemails didn't echo. She stayed behind, in his apartment, with her silence. And that silence began to weigh more than any confrontation. She cleaned his kitchen, folded the throw blanket, left her red dress hanging on the door. Then she sat back on the couch, same spot he scrolled through his phone, and stared at nothing for a full hour, until finally she picked up her own phone, opened her notes, typed, "Would you stay with someone who forgets what matters to you?" Then deleted it, typed again, "Would you still call it love if you had to beg for presents?" Then she stopped, because she didn't want to write questions anymore. She wanted answers. That evening, she didn't text him, and he didn't notice. He sent a dry, "Home late, order something?" at 7:12 p.m. No emojis. No questions. No, "How was your day?" She looked at the message, then locked her phone. She wasn't hungry. What she really wanted was a conversation, the kind they used to have at the start, when even the smallest detail felt important, when he used to ask how her meeting went, or what perfume she wore that day. She tried to remember the last time he really looked at her. Not just glanced, but looked, with curiosity, with care, with love. She couldn't. And that scared her more than anything Lara ever said. The next morning, she packed a small bag, just essentials, no drama, no big exit. She didn't know if she was leaving for good, but she knew she needed space. To think, to breathe, to stop shrinking herself in someone else's silence. Before she walked out, she placed the red dress back in her bag, folded, neat, as if saying, "You don't get this version of me anymore." She left a note on the kitchen counter. "Take care." Nothing more. No accusations, no questions. No final words to hold against her. Just space. She stayed with her sister for a few days. Didn't talk about it at first. They watched movies, ordered greasy food, laughed at dumb videos. But even in laughter, there were long pauses where her eyes drifted off. On the third day, her sister finally asked, "Do you want to talk about it?" She hesitated, then nodded. And when she began, the words came like a flood. Not angry, not dramatic, just tired. Greater than, it's not even about cheating. I don't know if he did or not. It's that I waited for hours on my birthday, and he didn't even ask how it went. It's that someone else was worried enough to call him at 1 a.m., and I wasn't even on his mind. It's that I felt more like furniture than a person. Her sister didn't interrupt, just held her hand. And in that quiet moment, something inside her shifted. She realized she hadn't cried. Not once. Not when she saw the photo. Not when she heard Laura's voice. Not when he kissed her like a stranger and walked out. She was past tears. She was in the stage after heartbreak. The part where you stop begging and start seeing. And what she saw now was clear. He didn't lie with words. He lied with absence. He texted again on the 5th day. "Are you okay?" "No, I miss you." "No, come back." Just a vague, delayed curiosity. She read it twice, then left it unread. Not to punish him, but because she realized she didn't owe him the effort anymore. That night he called. She picked up. His voice was calm, too calm. Greater than, "I noticed some of your stuff's gone." She didn't speak. "Look, if this is about the other night, I already told you. It wasn't like that." Still, she said nothing. He exhaled. "You always overthink things." And just like that, she remembered why she left. Not because of Laura, not because of the voicemail, not even because of the photo, but because of that sentence. You always overthink things. As if her pain was a flaw, as if her intuition was a burden, as if her worth was something he could dismiss. So finally she spoke, greater than, "I'm not coming back." Simple, quiet, not dramatic. He paused, then scoffed lightly, greater than, "Over a photo?" And that's when she smiled, sadly, but with clarity. Greater than, "No, over everything." She ended the call, not because she was sure, but because for the first time in months, she didn't need to be. She just needed to choose herself. And when she turned off her phone and lay back on her sister's couch, wrapped in an old fuzzy blanket and the soft sound of rain against the window, she didn't cry. She didn't overthink. She just breathed for the first time in a long time.